So what was it like to work with Joanne at NASA? The postdoc years, I call them, because I had 6, 7 years working with Joanne. I stayed at Goddard for an extended postdoc period just because she was there, and we were working on exciting things. We were flying in these hurricanes, we were collecting the data, we would come back, analyze the data, and it was a very interesting process working with Joanne. She had a huge office, huge office, and she had an assistant and all that, but all on the walls around her were her books, and then she had one shelf that she would call precious books, and the precious books were never ever to be loaned out to anyone. That's why they were called precious books, and that shelf was labeled as such, right? And of course you had the Reel and Malchus, and you had all the classics there from tropical meteorology. Well, anyway, the working process with all these huge binders of data. We had computers back then, but Joanne and I were kind of tactile. We'd like to put out analysis charts and ASCII, runs of data, and that's just getting into it, right? So we could write on it and circle things, and we would talk about a storm. We were trying to build a hypothesis chain and talk about this process leading to such process, and we would just open up the folders and pull out what we needed, and on the floor, she and I got down on knees and just spread this stuff out, and the images of the hurricanes, the SCUT plots, the data, we would just organize this stuff in a way that constructed a conceptual hypothesis chain. This is proving this, and this leads to this, and here's the evidence for this. And it was just an amazing way to do science. You just get down on the floor with your mentor and say, we're going to look at stuff. And we didn't care who was walking by, who was looking. That's just how we did the science. And that's one of the most amazing things I remember about Joanne is this. We could just lose ourselves for hours just talking nothing but science and looking at data. And she had the most amazing amount of enthusiasm and motivation. It was infectious. I caught the bug, right? And then I would feed back to her because she saw my excitement, and that would keep her going. And so that's how we published a lot of our papers.